Hi guys, so today I want to show you how to build an auto logout script. Say for example, you have a web service where people log into a particular area and then for some reason they become inactive for a certain amount of time. They could have walked away from the computer, who knows? Well, this script will run in the background, see that they've been inactive, and force a logout. To pull this off, we'll be using HTML5, jQuery, and a bit of PHP. So let's get started. So to move things along and to ensure the video doesn't run too long, I went ahead and created two HTML files, a signed in and a signed out. The signed in is basically to illustrate a area in which a user signed into, and the sign out is as self-explanatory. So let me show you what these pages look like. Yep, as you can see, they're very simple HTML files, but allows us to focus more on the code. So let's get started doing so. So as I mentioned before, we're going to be using jQuery as our scripting language. Okay, so at this point, we have two main objectives. One, we want to determine if the user is inactive or active. And two, we want to capture and log the date and time of each time the user moves his mouse. And to pull this off, we're going to use a jQuery method called move mouse. Okay, so to store the date and time, I'm going to use an HTML5 variable called session storage. Now, session storage is very similar to a cookie, except the data is only available during the active session, meaning when you close the browser, the data is destroyed. And to set a session storage, you need a key and a value, like a type. So set item, and I'm gonna give it a key of um, last time stamp, and the value will be, I'm just gonna copy this variable, timestamp. All right, cool. So when we move our mouse, we're going to capture the current time and date and store it into a session storage object labeled last timestamp. All right, cool. So let's run this. Oh, and also to view this data, we're going to be using our inspect tool. Wait, is that movement? Mm. All right, so as you can see, every time I move my mouse, the second increments. So look like it's working. Okay, so at this point, we've created a session storage object, captured and saved the timestamp of the last mouse movement into this object. So now we want to basically read this object, assign the data to a variable, and compare it to the current time. All right, so let's create a method to do this. We'll call it time checker. You know what? Let me copy this line here and um, paste it here. Change this to get. Remove this and assign it a variable. Call this stored timestamp. Let's see if this works. Let's use a console log this time. Set an alert. So if I refresh this, it should increment. You know what? That's better. Okay, so everything appears to be working. Now we want to run this check over and over again. So we can use this jQuery set interval method and set it to a timer. Set it to 3,000. So 3 seconds. Okay, so we have mouse moves. This stores the mouse movement timestamp. Then time checker functions run, and every 3 seconds we read this timestamp and store it into a variable and log into the console. Yeah, okay. And as you see, this number is incrementing because we haven't moved the mouse. Now, once I move this mouse, it'll start incrementing. Boom. All right, so moving along, what we need to do now, we want to compare this store time with the current time. The current time compare it to, say, past time. And we want to pass this time string here to past time. And we'll get the difference. I'm just going to call it time diff. We want to say current time minus past time. That's not right, is it? Okay, now you got to understand that we're working with milliseconds. So time diff, I think it's 60,000. So let me go back. Yeah, 60,000. Okay, so show them as a float, and we don't want to float, so need a floor. Let's run this again. It's basically saying 0 minutes have passed. Let's sit here for a second and see if it'll change to 1 after a minute's passed. There it goes. Cool. Alright, so moving on our own. I want to say if, do a little bit of logic here. If minutes passed is, say, greater than 1 minute, then go application. Alright, let me save this real quick. This is where the PHP part comes in. So, for this tutorial, I'm assuming you're logged in via a session variable, and so we need to destroy that session and redirect to our sign out page. Now, if you're using the framework, it's very unlikely that you're gonna have to do all this stuff. And that's basically all the PHP we're going to be doing for this tutorial. Let's go here. Alright, so back to our code. What was it, session? And also, I'm gonna return false to prevent our code from executing. And if you want, I'm gonna remove the session storage object that we previously created. Kind of tidy things up. So remove item, and I'll be lazy, just copy this down. Now, as a visual, I'm gonna write some data to our console log, basically for we can see and monitor the time as it passes. Just copy these down. So minutes pass. That's right. Okay. All right. So let's run this. Clear this from fresh start. Different. Okay, so we have the current time. Last time we moved our mouse, and the amount of minutes that has passed. Okay, we see now that a minute has passed. Now if I move my mouse while on a document, this should reset the timer and place it back to 0. Yep, set back to 0. So that basically shows that I'm an active user. Now if I don't touch my mouse for more than a minute and 1 second, the script should automatically redirect us to a session killer page, which will kill our logged in session and then redirect to our logged out page. .42. Okay, next one I think it should sign out. Boom. Yep. Kill our session storage variable, signed us out. It works. Now, if you're considering using this code for your application, you maybe want to run a few other checks. One, check to make sure JavaScript is enabled, and two, um, maybe check to make sure the browser supports session storage. Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys. Bye.